I'm 79, and when I first started using ChatGPT, I felt this AI thing was pretty useless. The responses were so generic and unhelpful. I started to wonder if this was just another piece of technology that I needed to get my grandson to explain to me. Turns out there are several settings that most people never discover that completely change how ChatGPT communicates with you. Now, once I found them, I went from feeling like I was talking to a robot who didn't get me to actually getting useful help. So today, I'm going to show you exactly how to set up your account, step by step. No tech experience needed, so that you can start getting responses that actually make sense for your life and your goals. Now, you can use these tips whether you already have a ChatGPT account or you're just getting ready to join this secret society of AI-wielding seniors. So jump in. The water's fine, really. In case you don't already have a ChatGPT account and want help creating one, I've put a link in the description below that you can go to for exact instructions. If you already have an account or just created one, you're in the driver's seat, so time to take this puppy for a spin. Now, once you're on the chatgpt.com page, look down at the bottom left corner of the screen. You should see a profile picture of you or initials in a small circle. You might have to squint or grab your bifocals to see it because it can be pretty damn tiny for some users. If you don't see it then either, you might need to refresh the page or make sure that you're really fully logged in. Now, if you click on that picture or initials, not the text beside it, but directly on the image, a small menu should pop up. Look for Settings. It's usually down near the bottom of the list, and click it. Once the setting panel's open, you ought to see options like General, Notifications, Personalization, Connected Apps, Data Controls, Security, Account, or something like that. If you see a different list, you're probably using a different version of ChatGPT 5, which at the time of this recording is the most recent. That's not a problem, just progress. Just look for the option Personalization to teach ChatGPT how it should work with you. Now, if that option is not available at all, you must live so far in the future that it already knows all there is to know about you. So this video is pretty damn useless. In that case, ignore me, jump to the end, and enjoy your relationship with your now advanced ChatGPT version Z or whatever. I'm jealous. If you're still watching, let's chat about what those settings might be and why you might want to adjust them to your liking. One of the settings on this page that I find very useful is the voice setting. Obviously, the play option gives you a sample of the currently selected voice that ChatGPT is using when speaking to you. The little down arrow beside the name Maple on my screen lets me select any of several different voices. I recommend listening to a few and finding the one that's least annoying and select it. Make sure you give it a test run with that play option so that you know what you're going to get. Now, the good news is you can always return here and change your voice at any time that you get fed up listening to her or him or it or whatever you call it. Of course, feel free to play around with the other settings you see on there like theme, accent, color, language, and so on. Another interesting option you see is the Show Follow-up Suggestions in Chats. Now, if that one's turned on, ChatGPT will end every response with a question that's designed to keep you prompting it for more. Little devil never wants you to quit. On or off are your only choices. Now, as you see, I like the invitation because I can always ignore it. Makes me feel like I'm controlling the AI instead of the other way around. Now, here you see a couple of options that control how pushy ChatGPT gets. The Responses option gives it permission to pop up a message on your screen when it's completing a long-running prompt. And tasks can be set here to either push or email. Now we're getting to the nitty-gritty of this video. This is where you have the power to define how you want ChatGPT to act and what it should remember. Let's start with the custom instructions. This is your most powerful tool for guiding it to be what you want it to be. If it's set to off, you're stuck in that generic hell that the majority of users are stuck in. Switch it to on and see what wonders await. The first choice you can make is what the AI should call you. Now, if you're okay with your name, just give it that. Or if you'd rather be someone else, this is your golden chance. Whatever you put in here, it will faithfully call you that once you've saved these options. Next, it asks, what do you do? And any information you provide in this box is just going to help ChatGPT formulate its responses to be friendly to that type of a job. By the way, there's no penalty for lying. You can just tell it who you wish you were, and it'll accept that just as blindly. It probably wouldn't know that you're really not Darth Vader or Luke Skywalker. Now, the question, what personality should ChatGPT have, is set by default to default. That's very original, right? But it allows you to change it. You can ask it to be cynical, efficient, thoughtful, or even nerdy. You might want to play around with those to see which you prefer. The question, what traits should ChatGPT have, is where you can really influence how it responds to you, regardless of whether you have a paid account or not. This is where you can tell it to be witty, encouraging, critical, or anything that you appreciate in a conversational exchange. Matter of fact, this one is so important that I have to spend a little more time on it. You can rack your aging brain trying to figure out what makes you happy, or you can save yourself the trouble by asking ChatGPT for help. I'm going to demonstrate how I used ChatGPT itself to figure out what traits I should ask for. Now, I'm opening a different browser window and starting ChatGPT again. There are a few other ways of doing this, but this is the one I chose, and I'm sticking with it. So I'm just going to ask ChatGPT, I need help deciding what traits I should assign you in the personalization options. Ask me 5 questions that will help you recommend the right traits for me to put in there. And here are the 5 questions it suggests. Actually, I like that it expresses each question more as a choice, or at least a suggestion, so I don't have to think too hard. I definitely prefer friendly and conversational. Of course, professional and efficient would have been my choice back in the day when I was doing real work. I do prefer it to challenge me with new ideas, and I'd like detailed and thorough answers. As for the teacher/coach versus partner, I think that should be on a case-by-case basis. And I definitely prefer humor and lightness when I'm interacting with AI. So I answer the questions with what feels right today. Remember, I can always come back and change these anytime I want. It comes back and recommends tone, style, approach, personality, and role. Then it creates a persona summary that I can just copy and paste into the settings. Be a friendly and conversational partner who explains things thoroughly. Challenge me with new perspectives, but always stay honest. Adapt your role. Sometimes a coach, sometimes a collaborator, depending on the situation. And feel free to add humor and lightness when it fits, but never at the cost of clarity or truth. I like that, so I return to my customized ChatGPT window and paste it into the What Traits Should ChatGPT Have section of the form. Under the section Anything Else ChatGPT Should Know About You, you can add a list of topics, anything that's important or at all mildly interesting for you. The final choice in this window is the option Enable for New Chats. Since it seems to me to be the primary purpose of giving ChatGPT all of this information, I think it'd be silly not to do that, so I turn it on and hit the Save button. By the way, if this video is helping you turn ChatGPT from a frustrating robot into a useful assistant, do me a favor and hit that like button. It tells YouTube that maybe seasoned folks like us actually know a thing or two about technology. Before we leave the personalization area, there's one more feature that a lot of people miss: the memory settings. This is where ChatGPT can actually remember things about you across different conversations. Now, here's how it works. If memory's off, every chat starts fresh, like you're meeting a stranger for the first time. If your memory is on, ChatGPT starts keeping track of things you've told it, like, your name, your preferences, or even ongoing projects. That means you don't have to keep reintroducing yourself every time you open a new conversation. The nice part is that you're still in charge. You can click into the memory settings anytime and see what ChatGPT remembers. And if you don't like something, you can update it or delete it completely with one click. And if you decide you don't want it to remember anything at all, you can just flip the switch and turn memory off. Kind of like thinking of this feature as a difference between talking to a neighbor that you see once in a while versus a good friend who remembers things like your stories, your lies. With memory on, ChatGPT can get better at helping you in the long run, but with memory turned off, you get the comfort of knowing nothing carries over. Every conversation is a new start. The choice is yours, and honestly, you can't go wrong either way. But you can always come back and change it later. Next up, connected apps. Now, this is where ChatGPT can link up with other tools that you use, like Google Drive or OneDrive. If you work with documents or collaborate with teams, connecting an app can save you a lot of time. Just be sure to glance at the permissions. It's always good to know what data is being shared with whom.
Surprise! I sound a little different now. No, I didn't suddenly hit puberty again. It's just an AI voice filling in while my real voice is currently on vacation with a sore throat. Now, I'll be honest, data controls might not sound like the life of the party, but this is where you get to be the boss of what ChatGPT remembers, what it forgets, and how much of your digital footprint sticks around. It's less about tech jargon and more about setting boundaries on your terms. Let's walk through what you'll see here, one by one. Improve the model for everyone. When this is off, your chats stay private and are not used to improve ChatGPT. When it's on, anonymous data helps make the tool smarter for everyone. Now, here's where it gets really practical. Shared links. Ever shared a chat with someone else? This is where those live. Click Manage to see or delete any links you've sent out. Archived chats. These are chats you've tucked away for later. Maybe they were useful or sentimental or just too good to delete. You can manage those here too. Archive all chats. Think of this like tidying up your living room. You're not throwing anything away, just moving it to a quieter place. Delete all chats. This one's bold. It wipes the slate clean. All your past conversations, gone. If you're feeling like a fresh start or just want to declutter, you can click Delete All. Just maybe don't do it by accident. Export data. Want to keep a copy of your conversations? Maybe you're writing a book, tracking ideas, or just curious to see what you've asked over time. Click Export and ChatGPT will package it all up and email it to you. So really, this whole section is about control. Your control. You get to decide what stays, what goes, and what ChatGPT knows. And you can change your mind anytime. Let's talk about security, because as much as we love technology, it's even better when it plays it safe. This section helps you protect your ChatGPT account, especially if you're using it often or storing anything personal. Here's what you'll see. Multi-factor authentication, or MFA for short. This adds an extra step when logging in, usually a code sent to your email or phone. It's like putting a second lock on your front door. You don't have to use it, but if you're worried about security or just like the peace of mind, it's worth turning on. Log out of this device. If you're done for the day and want to sign out, just click this. It logs you out of the current device you're using, whether it's your computer, tablet, or phone. Log out of all devices. Now this one's like flipping the master switch. Maybe you use ChatGPT on a public computer or forgot to log out somewhere else. Clicking Log Out all ends every session everywhere. Secure sign-in with ChatGPT. This is for folks who use their ChatGPT login on other websites or apps. Right now, you probably haven't used it that way, and that's totally fine. But if you ever do, they'll show up here so you can keep an eye on them. Okay, this is where we wrap things up. The account section. Right now, you're using the free version of ChatGPT, and for most people, that's plenty. At the top, you'll see a little prompt inviting you to upgrade to ChatGPT Plus. If you're curious, here's what that includes. If you're on the free plan, the section GPT Builder Profile will look a little mysterious and totally inactive. That's because you can't create or publish custom GPTs unless you upgrade to a paid plan.
So, whether you're brand new to ChatGPT or just never got around to customizing it, here's the order that I recommend. Start with Personalization to get ChatGPT talking the way you like. Then glance at the connected apps. if you want any integrations, or set your data controls the way you're comfortable. Turn on security protections, especially that two-factor thing. And finally, check your account details so you don't run into surprises later. Now look, I know this feels like a lot of settings to fiddle around with, but trust me, spending 15 minutes on this setup will save you hours of frustration down the road. Because once you've got ChatGPT talking to you like a helpful friend instead of a corporate robot, you'll wonder how you ever put up with those generic responses. And here's the beautiful thing. None of this is set in stone. If you find ChatGPT starting to sound like a sycophant or your grumpy old grandpa, just come back and these settings can be changed. Tweak them. Think of this as adjusting the thermostat in your house. You keep fiddling until it feels just right. And if you ultimately decide that your fiddling did more harm than good, just go back in and delete it all. No harm, no foul, right? Got any questions about these settings? Well, drop them in the comments below. I do read every single one, and I'll do my best to help you out. And if you know another person over 50 who's been struggling with AI, share this video with them. We're all into this together, figuring out how to make technology work for us instead of against us. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell if you want more no-nonsense tech tutorials designed for people who didn't grow up with smartphones glued to their hands. I've got plenty more videos in this channel and upcoming that'll help you get the most out of AI tools without needing to call your grandson for translation. Remember, you don't have to be 25 to master this stuff. We've got decades of problem-solving experience that these young folks don't have. We just need to learn the language. And that's exactly what we're doing here. Now, go forth and have some actually useful conversations with your newly personalized ChatGPT. You've earned it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.